Judge Amy Coney Barrett questions JD Vance's rural background. Vance's response leaves her in tears. The Supreme Court confirmation hearing of Judge Amy Coney Barrett took an unexpectedly emotional turn when she engaged in a pointed exchange with Senator JD Vance R. Ohio over his rural upbringing and its influence on his political views. What began as a standard line of questioning quickly transformed into a deeply personal moment that left Barrett visibly moved and, according to some observers, near tears. The tense exchange unfolded when Barrett, known for her sharp legal mind and composed demeanor, pressed Vance on how his background growing up in rural Ohio shaped his perspective on issues like economic inequality and judicial philosophy. Vance, a best-selling author famous for his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, which chronicled his journey from a struggling Appalachian family to Yale Law School and eventually the U.S. Senate, initially responded with his usual polished political rhetoric. But Barrett, herself a Midwesterner from Louisiana, didn't let him off easy. "Senator Vance," she said, her voice steady but firm, "you've written extensively about the struggles of rural America. Yet some critics argue that your policy positions don't always align with the needs of the very communities you come from. How do you reconcile that?" Vance paused, his usual confident demeanor flickering for a moment. Then, instead of delivering a rehearsed answer, he took a different approach, one that caught everyone off guard. "Judge Barrett," he began, his voice quieter now, "I grew up in a house where dinner sometimes meant a can of soup split between 3 people. Where my grandmother, who raised me, worked 2 jobs and still couldn't always keep the lights on. I watched my neighbors, good, hardworking people, lose hope because the system failed them. And yes, I went to Yale. I made it out. But that doesn't mean I forgot where I came from." He continued, his words raw and unfiltered. "Every time I vote on a bill, every time I take a stance, I think about the kid I was, the one who felt invisible. And if I've ever seemed disconnected from that past, it's not because I don't care. It's because I'm still trying to figure out how to fix something that's been broken for generations." The room fell silent. Barrett, who had been listening intently, lowered her gaze for a moment. When she looked back up, her eyes were glistening. For a woman known for her stoicism, the display of emotion was striking. "Thank you, Senator," she said softly. That means more than you know." Observers in the hearing room later described the moment as electric and unprecedented. Political analysts speculated that Barrett, a devout Catholic and mother of 7, may have connected with Vance's story on a deeply personal level, given her own emphasis on faith, family, and overcoming adversity. As the hearing continued, the usual partisan tensions seemed momentarily softened. Whether the exchange will have any lasting impact on Vance's political career or Barrett's judicial legacy remains to be seen. But one thing was certain. In a room often dominated by scripted speeches and political posturing, 2 public figures had, for just a moment, spoken from the heart. And it was powerful enough to bring a Supreme Court justice to tears.